We are live from San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, ABC's NFL Football Thursday Night Edition. The Los Angeles Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to see the new 1984 Nissan 300ZX at your Datsun dealer now. And by Budweiser, the king of beers and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronic store. Hello again, everyone. This is Frank Gifford, along with Howard Cosell and O.J. Simpson. And tonight, a meeting of two bitter rivals in the AFC Western Division. However, this year, the standings would indicate they have been not the same as they have been over the past few years. The Raiders on top, 10-3. They are masters of their own destiny. They can clinch the Western Division of the AFC with a victory tonight. As you can see, San Diego, a lot of injuries this year. The primary one, of course, to Dan Fouts, out 5 games. Dan Fouts came back, however, last week, and they thoroughly whomped up on Denver 31-7. Dan Fouts with a big day, 299 yards passing. It was indicated that he had a torn rotator cuff earlier, and it was thought he was lost for the season, maybe for good. That's a very disabling injury. However, such was not the case, and he is back. And here's Jim Plunkett. He was replaced, as you might recall, a few weeks ago by Mark Wilson. Wilson, the starting quarterback against Dallas when the Raiders almost beat themselves, but they didn't. They came back to beat Dallas, and then it was Wilson who went down only 2 weeks after that with a shoulder injury, and Plunkett is back, and he has been spectacular over the past 3 weeks. The Raiders have won the toss, and the San Diego Chargers set to kick off. The Chargers mathematically are not eliminated from the AFC Western Division. Although at 5-8, well, they are just about that way. They are trying to break even on the season. They would have to win their remaining games to do that. The Raiders now grouping up on the field. They are dropping Greg Pruitt, longtime veteran of the NFL wars, came to the Raiders a year ago from the Cleveland Browns. Spectacular punt return man. As you can see, his average on kickoff returns not as good as it's been. We are set to go. The Raiders, a big, strong team put together by Al Davis from around the league, and they are playing superb football. Only Dallas and Washington has a better record in the NFL. Set to go, and Ralph Benushka will kick off. Greg Pruitt again is deep. This, however, is Clee Montgomery as Benushka kicks away from Pruitt. And Montgomery down the side line over the 35, out close to the 37-yard line. It'll be first down Raiders. Ken Green was down there for San Diego. Offensively, Plunkett, a 13-year veteran, more comebacks than Muhammad Ali, if you will, and he is back. He opened up this season, was replaced by Mark Wilson, as I mentioned earlier, but he is now back in command. Wilson, however, not as seriously injured as they thought. He could be back for the playoffs. The Raiders having only used one of their injured reserve moves. 37-yard line, first and 10, the Raiders. Marcus Allen left side and grabbed by the shirt, and down he goes after a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. And let's meet the young defensive unit. They start rookies. They start 4 of them, as a matter of fact. They're very light in their 3-4. They're 3 men up front. They're taking on one of the biggest offensive lines in the league. Mike Green, perhaps the best of the rookie crop. A 9th-round draft pick out of Oklahoma State, plays that inside linebacker. They have cornerbacks that are both rookies. Gilbert at the left corner. He's a rookie from San Jose State. Danny Walters at the right corner, a rookie from Arkansas. But Danny Walters has picked off 6 passes already this season. 2nd down and 7. The Raiders at their own 41-yard line. And Plunkett tried to check off to Allen. Not seeing the skill players, if you will. They use Eric Sievers as a double tight end, but he'll line up many times in the backfield and move in motion. Lyle Alzado not in the lineup tonight, a very sore ankle, injured last week against the Giants. Dennis McKnight came off the field. He appeared to be all right. Gissinger has moved to center for the Chargers. First down and 10 following the foul. This is Muncy on the left side. And Muncy with a gain of 5 to the 45-yard line, chased out of bounds here by Bob Nelson. And defensively, let's take a look at these Raiders. They will alternate a lot of defensive linemen, and they are good. At right end, Bill Pickell, a rookie from Rutgers, with 7 sacks in his rookie season. Ted Hendricks, 212 consecutive games, never missed one since he began with Baltimore in '69. We've talked about Lester Hayes, good secondary. McElroy, at free safety. He has 6 interceptions for the Raiders. It's 2nd down and 5. Muncie once again. And Muncie gets to the 42-yard line, short of the first down by a couple. San Diego showing blitz. They've been doing a lot of it in recent weeks. And they bring the ball. Plunkett. This will be picked off. Danny Walters, the rookie from Arkansas, 7th interception of the season, and he's bringing it back. Danny Walters all the way back to the 48-yard line. Plunkett read it well, tried to get it to Branch. Man for man on Walters. Overthrew it. Walters picks it off.
Danny Walters has been one of the key reasons for improvement over the last 6 weeks in the defense of the Chargers. Watch this. Plunkett was under pressure but holds together. However, there he had nobody to throw to but Wallace, since Branch was, well, he would have had an underthrow for Branch to come back on the ball.
But you can't blame Plunkett on that because Branch slowed up. Branch didn't think the ball was coming to him. He slowed up. Plunkett threw the ball, and Walters made a catch. And Walters showed a little flash of speed. That was Cliff Branch trying to catch him, and he didn't catch him. We'll be back in a minute.
Bounce, dumps it to Muncie. That'll be 6 easy. So Danny Walters with the interception and the return close to midfield, giving the Chargers good field position. Bounce, Joyner, Muncie, and Chandler, 6 points Chargers.
Fouts put his finger right on it, as we noted, when he said Walters has been the key to the changed San Diego defense, and Wallace gave them the scoring opportunity on the interception and the turnover. There's Muncie playing hurt, but playing and playing well.
Could be right. In this passing game that exists today in the 80s of pro football, no one does it better than Erskine. The Chargers. There's 7 minutes now gone from the first quarter, have taken the lead 7-0. Look at it again. I think it was a checkoff, O.J.
Yes,
He was looking into the end zone.
Well, that's a safety valve. I'll tell you one thing. That was one of the prettiest drives I've ever seen. Their offensive line, the Raiders blitzed them on just about every play. Their backs and their offensive line picked up every guy and gave him the time. Culminated into a touchdown.
Third down and 12. No setbacks at all. Raiders come with the blitz. Nobody to pick it up. They did not, however, get the blitz man in. It was Howie Long getting his 10th sack of the season. He is the Raiders' best in that department. And Fouts drops all the way back inside his own 30, and that means punting time.
One of the 2 last men from Villanova, along with Vince Thompson of the Lions. Tremendous football player. At that time, the Raiders stopped Dan.
Well, he's a big, strong player.
Third down, 14. Fouts with a snap drop to Charlie Joyner. Bobbles the ball, and the Raiders have it.
Well, that was definitely
Mike
a
Davis
forward
to
lateral.
Rod Martin. Flags are down at midfield.
You'll see Joyner coming across with 45, Mike Davis on him.
So what a pass.
Right on the money. Great catch.
And what a receiver.
Illegal forward pass by the player that intercepted the ball on the receiving team. It's first down.
So Mike Davis, they might have, it looked like they might have even forgot which way we're working.
I think he did. There's no other way he could have shoveled that pass ahead of him.
But those defensive players.
Raiders keep the ball. They have it at their own 45-yard line.
Big break for the Raiders, because that would have been a big first down for the Chargers, who had assumed new momentum when they held the Raiders, who had only a half yard to go on a prior third down situation and didn't get it. Frank.
First and 10 near the 45-yard line. Inside to Marcus Allen. He's tripped up. Good defensive play. Mike Green, we told you about him. He's the 9th-round rookie out of Oklahoma State. Not big, 225. Ed Luther will put it down. Andy Gissinger will provide the snap. And the Chargers, to the roar of the crowd, move out on top 10-0 over the Raiders. And this man is off on another big night. Allen, he's got a good arm. He used to be a high school quarterback. Todd Christensen, touchdown Raiders.
They have not been shut out.
That's his third touchdown pass of the season also.
7 attempts, 3 touchdown passes by Marcus Allen, who used to be a quarterback at high school here in San Diego. And he is disconnected with Todd Christensen, who just collected his 10th touchdown of the Raiders season.
You were right. They haven't been shut out this half yet, and now they certainly haven't.
Let's take it in zone. It was a sweep. It was defensed well. I mean, I know both guys feel pretty good. Todd Christensen's mother is in the hospital with an operation today. I'm sure she's feeling good about this. And it's Marcus Allen's mother's, Gwen's, birthday. So both mothers are feeling pretty good today, this evening.
Mother's Day. Chris Barr for the conversion. Barr drills it through. So the Raiders draw close. They trail by 3. And we'll be back after this message from the National Football League. That's Todd Christensen, who just caught his 10th touchdown pass of the season from Marcus Allen. And I think he's trying to get a message to his mom, who O.J. has told you had surgery today. We wish her well. Todd Christensen,
unbelievable.
Magnificent one-handed grab, his second touchdown of the night, the 11th of the season. He just put out one hand, pulled it down, and I'll tell you, not a bad pass by Plunkett, because Ken Green was with him stride for stride, and he put it the only place where it could have resulted in the touchdown.
And Mom Christensen, I hope that makes you feel a lot better.
I hope so.
This was just, it was a great pass. I thought it was a little overthrown, but the catch by Todd is incredible.
I tell you, Ken Green was right with him, and it had to be put here.
Look, in the rain.
Hand, hits it up, his own tip drill.
5 plays, 65 yards. They used 34 seconds, and they have taken the lead.
They've been thoroughly outplayed, and they are now leading.
Chris Barr gets it through, just barely.
Just barely is right. So in a minute, 57 seconds, they scored 14 points,
and have taken the lead. The Raiders will do that.
Right after our producer Bobby Goodrich put up the graphic that said they haven't been shut out in the first half since October 11th, 1981.
Well, they are an amazing football team. It's a team that they go out. They don't try to really establish much. They don't worry if the running game isn't working. They don't even worry if the passing game isn't working. They know sooner or later they're going to make the big play, and that's what they've been able to do here tonight.
Quite a performance by both these quarterbacks. They have both been under tremendous pressure and still managing to get the good pass off. And that was a beauty to Todd Christensen. Change constantly. Alzado, of course, out with a sore ankle tonight, but they bring them in. They always keep 2 or 3 fresh pass rushers, and it pays off. That's the end of the first half, and the Raiders have bounced back. They take a 14-10 lead.
Had been with 3 teams in 3 years and hadn't really found a job yet, and Al Davis took me into to Boys Town in Oakland, California, and put me in a black jersey and put Al's Jewish and Moishi Dayan there on the helmet, and said go out and hit people, and worked out good. I guess it's become kind of a trademark of the Raiders over the year, and there's kind of a mystique to it.
Every time the Raiders step on the field, they expect to win.
Despite the obstacle, despite the situation that they're in, they always seem to overcome it.
They never feel they're out of the game, right down from the Darryl Lamonicas to the Ken Stablers to the Jim Plunkett, who was washed up 3 times and led them to a Super Bowl, and now is put on the spot to lead us again to the Super Bowl, hopefully.
The Raider mystique. Whatever the reason for it, the end result is clear.
Look out. Walk to the end zone. You see it so often on short yardage. Everyone burrowing down, closing off. Hawkins broke a off-tackle slant outside, walked into the end zone.
Got a great block from Marcus Allen on Danny Walters, and this is what separates the great teams like the Washington Redskins and the Raiders from the rest of the league. That they got the big men up front, they can control that line, they get down close to the end zone, they get it in.
But Jews, don't leave out the Cowboys, please.
Oh, I would not leave out the Cowboys. I predict that they'd be the most improved team this year.
Bob Goodrich, our producer, tells me that There's a wire service report to the effect that quarterback Lynn Carano has jumped to the USFL. That doesn't happen often to the Dallas Cowboys.
This bar for the conversion. So the Raiders, who trailed much of the first half by 10 points, have now moved out on top. They lead 21-10. Frank Hawkins, University of Nevada, Reno. Bounce. Ball is loose, and the Raiders have it.
That's what's happening.
Big Howie Long.
Muscled.
Big Howie Long.
And Dave Stalls falls on it.
This is a muscle.
Fouts is down.
The story of Dave Stalls is an indication of how the Raiders work. Stalls is a pretty good player. He had been with Dallas, went to Tampa Bay, jumped to the other league where he goes next year. So Tampa Bay understandably cut him, as you're looking at an end zone replay. Raiders, who want to win here and now, picked him up, and they know it's just for this season.
Oh, Big Howie Long got him right on the shoulder and sort of shoved the shoulder into the turf as he took him down. Let's hope Fouts be all right.
That's the 11th sack of the season for Howie Long. And Fouts was slow getting up and looked to be in pain. There they go. They're looking at Fouts' right leg. Hawkins, touchdown Raiders. So the sack by Howie Long, the recovery by Dave Stalls. Frank Hawkins takes it in on second goal to go, and the Raiders extend their lead. Frank Hawkins, an interesting player, 10th round draft pick after a tremendous effort at the University of Nevada in Reno over 4 years. He gained over 5,000 yards rushing. Everyone thought he was too short. He's 5'9". Everyone thought he was too slow. And Juice, I think you pointed out this morning, he actually is getting more playing time now than Kenny King.
Yes, he is. He's doing a super job. He's probably a better pure runner than Kenny. So he was the third all-time rusher in college behind White and Dorsey, two other relatively small running backs.
Dave Hum got it down. They acquired him when Mark Wilson went down. There's the man that took it in, Frank Hawkins.
When I retire, I haven't made it to the Super Bowl. I'll be able to give you a more definitive answer.
Dan Fouts picked off Rod Martin. Rod Martin, his fourth interception of the season. No flags down. Rod Martin trots into the end zone, and this man, as we mentioned several times in the first half, is having a great year. Fouts was looking deep. He tried to get one in between two Raider defenders, and Rod Martin gets the interception.
Well, we've talked about Rod a lot this year. He's probably the most underrated linebacker in the league. He's been the Raiders' most valuable player on defense the last couple of years.
Fouts wanted to go deep. He had Brooks trailing underneath.
He was conscious of Howie Long there, and I think he threw a pass if he had a little more time, he would have thought better about.
Actually, it was Winslow. He was checking off to Winslow. He's tall, 6'6". He didn't get it up high enough where Winslow could even battle for it. Chris Barr onto the conversion once again. And the Raiders have moved to a 35-10 lead with 8:33 remaining in the third quarter.
Boy, did they bust it open in a hurry. Juice, why don't you explain from your study of the Raiders how this team has fresh players at the end of the year? You mentioned Hawkins and Kenny King being used more sparingly. What does that produce for this team as an example?
Well, it produces a lot of confidence amongst the players when you got an owner that'll go out and get a guy like Stalls. And if you look at his linemen, he has Jordan and Marsh and most part on the bench. He can bring them in at any time.
Fouts picked off once again. McElroy with the interception. McElroy's 7th interception of the season. And he gets it back into Charger territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, they're putting the rush on Fouts. He is a little rusty. He hasn't been, he's only played one game in a few weeks.
Told you about that kid earlier. He's come into his own.
Let's take a look at this. Mike Haynes.
Mike Haynes
covering him like a glove.
He was in position where Chandler would have had to run through him. Fouts was thinking he was going to break across. McElroy was there. First down. Christensen 1-9. 3 touchdown catches. Breaking a Raider record for receptions.
That fella right there, Tom Flores. Everybody talks about Davis and how he puts the team. That is one of the most underrated men in football. right there.
I think if there's anyone more underrated than him, it's Chuck Noll.
Once again, the Raiders defeat the Chargers 42-10. The Raiders, the AFC Western champions. Tonight on Nightline, the Cabbage Patch doll craze. Why are millions of kids crying for one? How are parents and the toy industry meeting the demand? Answers tonight on Nightline with Ted Koppel, right after your late local news on most of these ABC stations. Travel arrangements made too, and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 LA Olympic Games and the proud sponsors of the United States Olympic team. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you Monday night from Detroit.